you now find me on the Aspen Fuel stand, and I'm standing next to Axel Hildebrand, who's the business development manager for the company. And how was yesterday for you, Axel? What sort of day was it?
I think it was pretty busy. I mean, up until about 2:30, I don't think I stopped talking or got a chance to go get some food. I mean, by the time I managed to sneak away, I mean, my throat was hurting, and then after when we came back, it was a bit quieter, but it seems to have kicked off in the same way here today. I think.
Wonderful, and it's a lovely stand. There's a lot going on in the stand. You've got an experiment there. We've got our science bit here that we'll have a look at in a couple of minutes. But tell me a little bit about fuel, Aspen Fuel, the benefits of Aspen Fuel in today's marketplace.
Yeah, so Aspen alkylate petrol, which is its full name, it's you can see it as a replacement fuel for garden machinery. Essentially, it's a Swedish-made product which was developed in the late 80s to overcome a problem with loggers were actually facing, where they found out that they had a really high rate of cancer, and they put that down to exhaust emissions from two-stroke machinery. Normal petrol, which is predominantly used here in the UK still with professional workers, has a lot of problems. You know, it's designed to be used in cars. It's designed to be as cheap as possible because cars have a high fuel consumption. You know, everyone moans about the fuel price, and with that, you end up getting a lot of nasty ingredients in that fuel. So when you then put that in a machine, you know, say a hedge trimmer, which you hold in your, work in your area, whatever is in the fuel, you end up essentially breathing in, and a lot of those chemicals in the fuel really aren't very good for the human body. So that's what Aspen set out to fix. So Aspen's fuel is made from alkylate petrol. It's a more refined product. Essentially what you end up with is a fuel that contains 10 of the least harmful chemicals compared to over 100 of the really nasty ones which you find in normal fuel.
I would say, I mentioned to you earlier, Axel, that at your business meetings, your boardroom meetings, your SWOT analysis, one of the things that will come up regularly is battery power. Sure. Is that something that's a real concern to you guys who are making a fuel?
Yeah, I mean, it is a question that gets brought up a lot now. Cordless technology is definitely here to stay. 10 years ago it was laughed at, and I can certainly see being put to good use. I have a lot of cordless machines myself, and there's a time and place for everything, but I think it's important to focus on what people are using now. And if we look here, I'd say over 90% of the tools people are using are petrol powered, and you can't just throw them away. That's not very good. But I think you'll find people, more and more battery kit is going to come onto the market because it's zero emission. So from a health perspective, great. But there's some places where they're not suitable yet, and for those machines and those already on the marketplace, Aspen alkylate petrol can really benefit the business in that, because there's no modifications needed. You just swap the fuel out and you can reduce benzene emissions by about 108 times. So, and that's quite something.
Well, I don't want to take up much more of your time, Axel, in this stand. You've got a very busy day ahead of you, but I wonder, we did mention at the beginning that you've got an experiment here. I wonder if you can show us the experiment.
Okay, so this is a little test kit that we have. We use it to show the difference between normal petrol, which is here, compared to Aspen alkylate petrol. Essentially, I can't show you the smell test here because you're watching this on a video, but one of the things that's really obvious with Aspen Fuel over normal pump fuel is that it doesn't have this horrible smell because it doesn't contain all these nasty ingredients. One of the things that this test can show is the solvent content, or the amount of aromatics that are found in normal fuel. And this is up to 35% in normal fuel, which is technically known as EN228. So I can show you here, this is Aspen Fuel here. So if I drop the polystyrene in there, you can see nothing exciting happens at all. Whereas in your normal pump fuel, that's going to dissolve very quickly. And that demonstrates the aromatic content in the fuel, which includes benzene, which is that group 1 carcinogen that nobody wants to breathe in.